Hey guys, I'm back with another video that I didn't plan on doing. This is kind of social media driven, and there's just so much stuff going on social media that I can't even put it into words sometimes, and people are just losing their mind over stuff, and it's kind of related to the Sound of Freedom movie. Like, this is just the worst timing, but everybody on the right is saying that Democrats and Californians hate children. They don't care if they're getting molested or trafficked or whatever. You know, they're just like crazy stuff because of this Senate Bill 14 didn't pass. And so it's kind of histrionic. I just can't believe that they are just making these accusations. Now, being a logical person and having some time, I decided, you know, and actually I read some different articles, and they just leave out so much stuff, and they're just so eager to say negative things about the other side. And actually both sides do this. I'm about to do another video on right and left when it comes to this Tim Ballard thing. But they're so eager to just say that, you know, the left hates children. And they don't even look at the bill. They don't really know even what is going on with it. They don't know why it didn't get passed. Or maybe they do, but what they come out saying about it, because they're only going to say one sentence about it. It's not really the truth, and people just grab onto that and run with it. I'm going to share, this link is down below. It's got all of these tabs here will tell you everything that you want to know about this bill, and how it's something they've been working on for a while. But I'll tell you the gist of what it says and kind of what's going on with it and why I think it was voted no. And they are still working on it. There's some things in there. My initial reaction was there must be something else in there that they added in that, you know, they didn't want to pass. But here's the situation. This is what the bill says. Oh dang, I meant to go all the way back up to the top. So what the bill does, this is a summary of the bill, if you can read that. It adds human trafficking of a minor for purposes of a commercial sex act to the list of serious felonies subject to enhanced penalties, including under California's 3 strikes laws. And then it tells you what this came from, that page I just left. And you can look at all of this stuff yourself, but I'm just going to kind of summarize. There are already laws on the books that are pretty severe. Well, severe is not, they're adequate for these crimes. And they're wanting to add it to this list. I'm going to go down a little bit. Here's the list. I'm just gonna kind of go down while I'm talking. They want to add it to this list, which would make it subject to the 3 strikes law. And if you're familiar with 3 strikes laws, California has it. I don't know if every state has it, but it basically says, you know, for each strike that you get, you go to prison for longer. It's longer sentence each time. And one side says we need to add this to this list because the punishment needs to be harsher for these criminals, and the other side says our punishment as it stands is adequate enough, and we don't think this should be changed. And I'm going to show you why in a second. I'm trying to find according to the author. Okay, current penalties. You can read all this. I don't want to make this a long video. 3 strikes implications. I'm looking for Okay, this is what I was looking for. The reason I think that they're not just jumping on this and going for it is because they are having to think about how crowded the prison is currently. And with the 3 strikes law, it has made prison overcrowding in California worse. And because you're taking criminals who might have been in there for 5 years and now they're in there for 15 years. Now I do believe they definitely need prison reform. That would make this maybe an easier, well, I'm going to show you something in a second, but that would help a lot. I want to read this to you because I think this is super important. You have people on one side that are emotional because they know somebody that has been trafficked, or they have seen stuff that, that I maybe not have seen because I don't live in California and I'm not, or don't live in that world. You have people that are emotional, and then you have people that are logical and look at studies and look at numbers. And that's kind of what we're dealing with here. And the numbers say, it says the National Institute of Justice has looked into the concept of improving public safety through increased penalties. As early as 2016, the NIJ has been publishing its findings that increasing punishment for given offenses does little to deter criminals from engaging in that behavior. The NIJ has found that increasing penalties are generally ineffective and may exacerbate recidivism and actually reduce public safety. These findings are consistent with other research from national institutions of renown. Rather than penalty increases, the NIJ advocates for policies that increase the perception that criminals will be caught and punished, because such perception is a vastly more powerful deterrent than increasing the punishment. So that's kind of where they're coming from. It's like, this isn't work. What we've been doing is not working. We need to make it more likely that they get caught than give them a longer sentence when they are caught. And that's from the numbers, the studies that they've been looking at. And that's why the prisons are so crowded, and why they have, and if you've paid any attention to, what's happening in prisons and the whole legal system and all that, it's just a giant mess. But the more crowded a prison is too, the worse off it's going to be in there, and the more of a criminal they're going to be when they get out. So it's just not a good situation all around. So the people that are supporting this bill, it says, according to Three Strands Global Foundation, the sponsor of this bill, it talks about the statistics in California of human trafficking. And they say that SB 14 will give a voice to the millions of victims that have suffered from this horrific, I feel like I'm losing my voice, this horrific abuse. This bill will fight to protect victims, strengthen prevention, and increase the prosecution of those who buy and sell human beings. It is about time that California starts to prosecute these horrendous acts as a serious crime. So I don't know whether or not they've been prosecuting them as a serious crime, but this is emotion. I think it says down here, let me see. I don't remember where I read it. Let's see if I come across it. So the opposition says, according to the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights, the Three Strikes model of sentencing enhancements is fundamentally flawed and should be repealed, not built upon. So basically they're saying, we don't need to be adding things to this list. We need to be removing, the list doesn't need to exist. We don't need to have this law anymore. We need to do something different. So let's not build it up. Let's start tearing it down and looking at each infraction, I guess, or each crime. So 3 strikes is ineffective in preventing crime or protecting our communities. It does not make victims whole. This is what I was looking for. It doesn't make victims whole or provide them with the healing that they need and deserve. So whether somebody goes to prison for 5 years or 15 years, it doesn't take away that victim's pain. And punishing them harder, it's not going to heal them. It's not going to heal them quicker, and it's not going to heal them better. The healing needs to happen, but punishing somebody more severely isn't effective. 3 strikes has been proven to be applied in a manner that punishes Black, Latinx, and Indigenous people more severely than white people who commit similar acts. That's a whole nother video, but I do agree. There's definitely issues in our justice system with race. It's not systemic, but it's there, because we do have racist people, and they do use the law. You know, if you can do 5 years or 15 years, you have a lot of room to play there. And if you don't like somebody of a certain race, you can give them the 15 instead of the 5. That's what I'm saying. So for each additional year of incarceration, and here's where it's not just about overcrowding, it's about the money. The California legislature takes an additional $150,000 from the state general fund. Multiplied by approximately 97,000 incarcerated people in state prisons serving very long sentences, the 2023-2024 fiscal year will spend $14.1 billion from the state general fund on prisons. So we know California has a money problem. We know they have a prison problem. So this is the stuff they're facing when they're looking at these laws. When reading, and they say again, the higher punishment doesn't affect recovery from sexual assault. Basically, yeah, saying the same stuff. Ella Baker. There's the prior legislation. Okay, so I want to show you this real quick. Here are the people that support this bill. It's a really long bill. So here's what this means. There's a lot of people in California that support this bill. So Californians don't hate children. There they all are. There's a bunch of people that, you know, want to put people away forever. And then the opposition, it's a much shorter list. Attorneys for Criminal Justice, California Coalition for Women Prisoners, California Public Defenders, Ella Baker Center for Human Rights, and then that's it. So there's one other thing I wanted to show you, and I think it was this. Research also shows that the law disproportionately impacts people of color. I think I don't think that was what I wanted to. Okay, it talks about court ordered California to maintain a durable solution to prison overcrowding. Yeah, they're this here is talking about prison overcrowding and ways to deal with it. This is kind of the same thing all over again. So essentially, you know, not everything is black and white. And what is that? It's more, that's another link from this page, but not everything's black and white. And this is a kind of decision that states are making every day. And nothing about this says that people don't, you know, that people hate kids, or that California is anti-kid, or the left is anti-kid. There are some crazy people out there. This whole transgender thing is just a hot mess. And it's another video I need to do. But regarding that, I watched an interview the other day. It was a mom from California that rescued her daughter from the transgender crap. She had been, the school basically hid everything from the mom, and her daughter thought that she was transgender, and she started doing all this stuff, and the mom basically fought to get her out of the snares of that whole movement. I was halfway through that interview before she said that she was a Democrat. And I about fell over, because the whole time I was just assuming she was a Republican or a conservative, because everything she was saying, it was just logical and smart and conservative, really. And I was just like, what? That's a Democrat? Because we're told repeatedly, over and over again, by the right-wing media that all of these people are crazy, that Democrats are crazy, that the left is crazy, and there are crazy. We see most of the crazy people on social media constantly. But we have to remember that there are people on both sides that are crazy, and there are people on both sides that are smart and have logic and care about their children, and they just have a different philosophy of how they think the world should be and who should be doing what. And we need to remember that, because we have things in common on both sides, and when people want to make us on far right or far left based on how we think things are, our belief systems, that's when we just argue online, and that's what's happening with this bill. They have a lot of things they need to fix in California. I've been to California, and I was not impressed. I would not want to live there. It's crowded. It might be beautiful, but when you think about the cost of everything and all that, like, I would rather go on vacations and travel to places like that than to live there and be dealing with all the mess that they've been dealing with. But this bill in particular, like, if you're a conservative, I don't think it's, you may be, I would kill, if somebody, did this to my child or whatever, I would kill them, and they should kill them. And here's the other thing too. I think I missed the part in one of these pages. I read it and I meant to share it, but they basically said they would rather spend more money on the schools and mental health and all of the things they should be focusing on when these people are younger, so that they don't grow up and either become a criminal and do things that they shouldn't be doing, or also that kids aren't growing up and they, girls being 18 and going, well, I just want to go be a prostitute, or I want to sell OnlyFans. That's a whole other topic. But you grow up, if you don't have self-esteem and you don't feel like you're smart enough, or whatever, and you don't feel good about yourself, you're going to go do things that you shouldn't be doing. They want to invest in the young people before they get to the point where they're doing this stuff. And that's what they say. Are they going to? Do they really want to? I don't know, but that is something that they would rather spend the money on than, $150,000 or whatever they said it was per year per prisoner. So now they definitely need to go in and start taking out the, I don't know if they still have people in prison for marijuana charges, because they are full-fledged legal out there now, and if somebody's sitting in prison for that, they need to come out. That's where they need to start. But it's not all black and white, and this is not an easy decision. And I don't think that these people hate children. I think that they just need to figure out what to do with their prisoners so that they can adequately prosecute and sentence these people, so that they are not coming out of prison and being worse off than when they went in. So just wanted to share some thoughts on this and what the bill is really about. And I think the takeaway from this is not to condemn the left, but to pray for California, the decisions that they're making for the children, and for the parents of these children, because I think as parents we all need to step up and do a better job as well. So I have another video that I need to do hopefully tonight, so I'm gonna cut this one off here. Y'all have a blessed day, and I will talk to you later.